But I did want to kind of touch on this. A lot of people are asking me this now. There are a lot of people out there with Ledger Nano S, and they're asking me either it's non-upgradable because they've had it in the drawer too long and it's too far behind on firmware updates, and they're mad at Ledger because now they can't update their device. There's a simple solution. Get a new device. Your crypto is safe if you have your seed phrase. Just get a new device. But a lot of people are asking me, oh, is the Ledger Nano S like obsolete now? It's not obsolete per se, but it is, they're an older device. And, we get new phones, we get new TVs, we get new computers. Devices wear out. Devices outlive their usefulness, right? So if you have a Ledger Nano S and it's working just fine and you've been keeping it up to date and you're happy, great, keep it. But if you can't update your device in order to use it, then definitely get a new one. But if you have an older Ledger Nano S, I would recommend getting a newer device. The Ledger Stax and the Ledger Flex are light years ahead in technology and interface over the Ledger Nano S. And, like for example, Windows 7, there were a lot of people that stuck with Windows 7 after Windows 10 came out for a long time. But eventually Microsoft, and during that time, even though Microsoft wasn't selling Windows 7, they still supported it. If you like called them and you had a whatever service contract, I don't know that they did it for free, but they still supported it. But after 7 years after they discontinued selling Windows 7, Microsoft stopped supporting it. They no longer gave it updates. They no longer answered your questions about it. They just, because it was legally, I think that's all they needed was 7 years. The same is going to happen eventually with, I don't think Apple supports the iPhone 4 anymore, right? They don't have to legally, and it's too much of an expense, right? So I'm sure at some point Ledger will no longer be updating the Ledger Nano S. I believe right now there's a current version of the firmware, so that's great. But eventually there'll be some new thing, some new vulnerability, some new bug fix required or whatever, and it'll be past the date that Ledger can like legally be required to support the device, or financially, is it financially feasible to keep supporting this older device? Probably not. They'll stop giving bug fixes, security updates, and functionality updates of the Ledger Nano S eventually. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the way the world works, right? So if you're using a Ledger Nano S, it's probably a good idea to upgrade the device. So if you just want to do a restore from seed phrase, great. If you're on a budget and you're mad, why do I have to upgrade it? But are there people out there still wondering why they have to upgrade their iPhone 4? I don't even think iPhone 4s work anymore. But I remember there were people that were mad when new iPhones came out, or when their iPhone started losing support. They're like, hey, I go and it says this app won't work on my phone. I'm so mad at Apple. Like, wait a minute, dude. It's just an old device, right? So if you're that type of person that wants to, just cling to the past or whatever, just get a Ledger Nano S Plus. It's basically the same device, same price point, better device, more storage, and is currently supported, getting bug fixes, updates, and functionality improvements, all that good stuff, right? So Ledger Nano S is an old device. If it's still working for you, great. If it's not, then just get a Ledger Nano S Plus. But I highly recommend moving to a better device. Even if it's a Ledger Nano X, that's a better device. It's got mobile, Bluetooth, all that cool stuff. And then the Flex and the Stax have the way improved interface. The same argument holds for Trezor devices. I've had some people ask me, oh, I got a Trezor One, I got a Trezor T. Those are older devices. They're on sale. You can get them dirt cheap, but eventually they will be past their usefulness. and Trezor will not be required legally to keep updating them. It's not a good business practice to keep updating like a 10-year-old device or a 7-year-old device or whatever, right? So if you're using a Trezor One or a Trezor T, Trezor has much better devices now. Trezor Safe 3, Trezor Safe 5, both of those are much better, light years ahead of the Trezor One and the Trezor T. So take it from me that, don't get mad because, you have to spend money on a new device. Look at it as you're improving your experience. That's just the way I see it. Anyway.